Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and today I would like to share a little Amazon unpackaging with you guys. Now, I have a couple things on the way from Amazon, some knife stuff, some non-knife stuff, but for sure, this is a knife. I just don't know what knife, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it together. My unboxing knife is going to be what I carried at work today. This is my size comparison size knife, one of them. This is the Civivi Vision FG. I freaking love this thing. Flightanium, please do something about this, because it's a little past due for you guys to make something for this. And you know what, I say you guys as if like they're watching, but they wouldn't. Anyway, oh, you know what, I'm glad I mentioned that too, because I actually got something from Flightanium through Blade HQ for this particular model. Now, this is this illegal in my area? I don't know. This is a really weird knife that when it first came out, I didn't really know what to think about it, and I think it disappointed a lot of people, like a lot of people. But we're gonna go ahead and check it out together. I think that I'm going to enjoy it enough that I went ahead and bought some Flightanium stonewashed scales for it, and I already have a clip already set aside, a matching titanium clip. But this is the original button lock Elementum by Civivi. It's typical Civivi stuff. I don't even bother showing this, but you get stickers, nice cloth, and then a little, like, I guess, other card. But this is supposed to be essentially a larger Elementum, and it's missing the flipper, and that's something that I really liked, at least aesthetically speaking, because I don't care for flippers. I understand that, you know, it's a different form of deployment, a little less harsh on your digits essentially, but I've just never been really, maybe at one point I was, but now I'm not really the biggest fan of flipper tabs. So I like how this thing looks closed. It is very sleek, very narrow, not super thin and dainty, but I think it's, I suppose, robust enough for what it is. And there is no other deployment method. That is, wow, there is zero movement. The only way to open this is by pressing that button. Now, when I mentioned earlier about, is this legal? That's actually very satisfying. Is this legal? In my area, I live in Southern California, technically in, I guess, LA, or I guess LA County, on the very outskirts, not the outskirts, but on the very edge of LA County. And I don't know. If anybody does, go ahead and educate me, please, because I don't know. I genuinely don't. But this is essentially a gravity knife. To all definitions, that would be, this is really that. You know, it doesn't really take much to get it out. Obviously, there's no actual spring to get it out. You use all of momentum. But really, it's a model and an opening method that kind of makes things a little bit different. But to other people within the hobby, they would consider, well, you know, just imagine, for example, this Vision FG. If it didn't have any studs, how would you get it out? Well, you have to release something that has a spring, creating tension, creating resistance, so the blade doesn't just flop out on its own. And I can go ahead and just depress the spring, and it's ready to freaking rock and roll. So is this a gravity knife? I don't know. Probably not. Seeing as I was able to buy this on Amazon and have it shipped to my location, I'm probably fine, honestly. But I think if I make a pretty interesting thumbnail, if I just have like the Civivi box and say, is this illegal? You know, get some people wanting to hop in and, you know, educate someone. So why not? All are welcomed, of course. You know what? This is pretty freaking sweet. So blade material here is 14C28N, and Jesus, That is super, super thin, very beautifully hollow ground, tall enough of a, I guess, blade height overall. The blade length, I believe it was recorded at like 3.6 or 3.8 or something like that. Let's go ahead and do a couple little size comparisons to help you guys get a good visual representation of what this guy is all about. We'll do a couple, not all the size comparison size knives, just stuff that's maybe in the same spectrum, right? So there's the Vision FG, and we could do the MSI. The MSI is significantly longer overall, about a inch longer overall, but cutting edge is you get a little bit more with the MSI, but not by much. What else is in a similar size? You know, I don't actually have a lot of stuff that's in a similar size at the moment. This guy right here, maybe. This is the Scapegoat Chavez Knives production. And it's damn near on the dot. Maybe the Chavez is just a tick under, but not by much. So that's pretty cool. This is a size range that I really enjoy carrying for sure. So I think we'll probably call that good with size comparisons. So as I mentioned before, I have some Flytanium scales, regular silver ones with the stone wash over it, and I have a black washed titanium clip that I'm going to go ahead and put on here. So my goal is to do a reverse tux button lock elementum, and maybe down the line do some anodization or customization. 3.3, nothing crazy there. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty freaking simple. There's really nothing super crazy about it. The spring tension feels very healthy. I do enjoy that the button is actually protruding a little bit, and I'm curious, does it actually stick out further when the... Yeah, it does stick out a little bit further when the blade is open, but getting a good grip on this, I can't. Now, I have large to extra large size hands, but I have slim fingers. But even still, I can make contact, but I don't have enough dexterity, I suppose, that I'm really trying there. I'm really trying. Like, I mean, you can see me, I'm sitting right over that button, but I don't have enough dexterity to actually decompress the spring. So I think this is a very safe design for sure. Feel in hand overall, it's not super blocky, it's well contoured. It feels like really an elementum with a flipper chop, and that's I mean, I think that's freaking awesome. I've had multiple elementums, I think like 3 or 4 of them, and I've always wanted to just get rid of the flipper tab because I just don't like it. But I think this is my answer. So this is quite nice. Now, because this has something a little bit extra than the typical liner lock or frame lock that's produced by, Civivi, this has a spring inside. It would have been really nice if they did include an extra spring. This guy, I think, was around like maybe 65 bucks. And I got it, so again, on Amazon. They weren't running a sale or anything. It just popped up, and I'm like, you know what? I have something in mind. I think I got some money to put into an idea, essentially. And you know what? I'm very excited to get those Flytanium scales, and when I do get them in, I will be doing a teardown and reassembly, I guess, the custom build, and I'm just gonna run it as is, carry it around for a little while, and I'll do my final thought and review with the Flytanium scales on, because it's just the scales. Now the G10 that's here, there's nothing really worth noting about it. It's semi-textured G10. It's not super slick. It's most definitely not rough whatsoever. In and out of the pocket should be excellent. The execution of the clip here is perfectly fine. It's just purpose driven, just function first fashion, not even a concept. You are able to reverse it, so lefties can be able to carry this very easily, and as you can see, it's very easy to do so. Now, left-handed, I'm trying to push the knife into the fat of my hand. That's such a weird statement to say, but I'm really trying to. I can't. I can get a little bit of blade rock, but I really got to muscle it, and that's very sketchy. It's very stupid to do. I would not suggest doing that. Now, solidity, wonderful, beautiful. Any more scratches on this thing? Any pivot lash? You know, that's pretty impressive. I will say that with every single, including the button lock Elementum 2, that I've now had the experience of having 2 of them. My wife has one, and then I modified and gifted one. So the Elementum button lock 2, which is smaller size, I guess suppose a standard compact Elementum size, with a button lock. That one, and also the liner lock ones. I've had a D2 one and an S35VN Blade HQ exclusive one. Eventually, they ended up having a little bit of side to side, no matter how cranked down the pivot was, and eventually some significant pivot lash and some detent movement, but it wasn't anything crazy. This is absolute. This is wonderful. I hope it stays like this, because all those other ones, I mean, I don't want to say they went to shit, but they kind of, it didn't take too long. And mind you, I go through cardboard and paper, maybe a couple little things in the kitchen, maybe a couple little outside projects, but I'm not bashing these things in with a hammer by any means. I'm not busting down doors. I'm not tearing off, cracking open car hoods and stuff like that with my knives. But those other ones seem to get all those same problems relatively early on in, the time that I had with them. But this thing, it feels significantly sturdier than every Elementum that I've checked out so far. The only Elementum that I have ever handled that's sturdier than this is literally the fixed blade. That's a very bold statement, I know. I did buy the, fixed blade version of all blacked out one and gifted it to my brother-in-law for, I believe, his birthday. It might have been Christmas, or probably his birthday, I'm not too sure, but he loves that thing. I put a sick freaking, I think it was like an 18-degree edge on it, and he doles it out almost immediately because he's so happy with how sharp it is. And it's just, he's not a knife guy, but it's nice seeing non-knife people get so excited over something so sharp, and seeing something like that go through all sorts of material. I don't want to sound, sexist or anything, but it's kind of like a guy thing to always want to separate things, always want to cut things and see something move through something in a nice, clean, fluid motion. It's very satisfying. And you know what? We can go ahead and try that now. Let's test out the factory edge. Civivi has been kind of all over the place. Sometimes they put really clean working finishes, working edges on their knives, but I have also experienced some that have been overstropped. So we'll check it out. I mean, it looks pretty good, but looks to be deceiving, of course. Yeah, so this is their, right before they started overstropping stuff. That's good. That is very, very nice. Oh yeah. That is quite nice. I most definitely enjoy that, and I absolutely appreciate a company like Civivi being able to actually sharpen their knives relatively well from the factory. But of course, it is nothing in comparison to what you can do on your own home sharpening system. Of course, it really does depend on your skills, how, the quality of your sharpener, but mainly your skills, right? I got a dummy-proof sharpening system. I use the Wicked Edge. I don't remember what version or what series it is, but it's good enough for me. I've been using it for many years now. It's the only sharpening system that I use, and I stand by it. It's idiot proof, it is, and that's why I own it specifically. 14C28N takes an incredible toothy, aggressive working edge that is very, very responsive to stropping, which I love. 14C28N, in my opinion, is almost like budget super steel. Now, if this was brought to the market in D2, it probably wouldn't bug me too much, even if it was still at the same price. Maybe knock off, $5-10. But many people would argue that with a coating, let's say in this exact same setup, with an actual coating. Now, I don't know what the coating is. It just says black wash. It's probably not DLC, and definitely not at this price. It's most likely something closer in relation to a PVD coating, which I'm completely cool with that. It's not really a big deal at this price point, significantly under $100. But I think that for maybe $10 off, I think plenty of people would still have been happy with D2, which would be really cool because D2 is very tough, and in many people's opinion, tougher than 14C28N. So I could have been happy with either or at this price point. Really wouldn't have been a big deal. But I do enjoy sharpening 14C28N a little bit more. I can get, I suppose, faster results, but not by much. If I'm gonna go and if I get, let's say I have an Elementum in D2 and an Elementum at 14C, chances are there's only gonna be like a 2 or 3 minute difference. It's so stupid, something to nitpick, but that's really just my opinion on the two blade materials there. On the design overall, up front, what I'm experiencing now, this is neat. This is really cool. I don't mind at all that it's only operated by the button. It's very smooth, running on ceramic bearings within the pivot, of course. Nothing fancy like internal stops. You have the 2-position stop pins there in the open position. You can see in the closed position right there. Not much else to say. Very well made from Civivi. I do enjoy how it looks very aggressive and tactical because it's all blacked out, of course. But so this is just a piece of what I'm trying to create. So when I get those Flightanium scales in, I'll make some more content on it, and probably in a week from then I will end up doing a full review to share my thoughts and overall. But you know what, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I'm probably gonna have a pretty good time with this because it is very fidgety. It's not like annoying fidgety. It feels very smooth, very tight in the pivot, which I absolutely enjoy. Out of the box, it doesn't feel cheap at all. Honestly, this feels like something that costs a little bit more than the price would suggest now that I have it in hand. But on paper and looking through my phone or my laptop, at this in the past, because this particular model has been out for a little while now, I think over a year, and it was not well received in the community. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think I'm for it. It's not too bad. I actually like it quite a bit. So I'm excited to see what else I'm able to learn about it in the next coming weeks here. So that is really it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you are subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support and your patience, of course. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing because I play more videos and content coming your guys' way. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.